AITA for resenting my grandmother's decision to leave her house to my TikTok famous cousin instead of me? I, 27F, have been going back and forth about whether to even post this because every time I try to talk about it out loud, I start crying, and I'm not really a crier. I'm the person people call when something needs to get done. I'm the one who shows up. That's always been my identity in this family, and I'm starting to wonder if that's exactly the problem. I need to give you the full picture because I think the details matter here. I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I work as a certified nursing assistant at a retirement community called Brethren Village. I make $36,000 a year before taxes. After taxes, after the health insurance premium they pull from my check, after gas, I take home enough to rent a single room in a shared house on Marietta Avenue for $675 a month and drive a 2013 Nissan Altima with a dent in the passenger door that I can't afford to fix. The dent happened in a Wawa parking lot 8 months ago. Someone left a note that said, "Sorry," with a smiley face. No phone number. That felt like a metaphor for something, but I was too tired to figure out what. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you because I need you to understand the math of my life. Every dollar is accounted for. Every hour is accounted for. And for the past 4 years, a significant portion of both has gone to my grandmother. My grandmother is Dorothy Weaver. Everyone calls her Gram. She's 81 years old and she lives in a 3-bedroom stone farmhouse on Hunsaker Road in Leola, which is a small community in Lancaster County. The house has been in the family for decades. Her husband, my grandfather Earl, died in 2014 from a heart attack while he was fixing a fence post by the barn. Gram found him lying in the grass with the post-hole digger still in his hands. She hasn't used the barn since. The house sits on 1.7 acres. Rolling property, beautiful in the fall, the kind of place that real estate agents describe as charming country estate when they want to charge more. It's worth about $415,000, which I only know because I looked it up on Zillow one night at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. I felt guilty for looking like I was reducing Gram to a number. But the number exists whether I look at it or not. Gram's health has been declining steadily. Type 2 diabetes, she's on metformin and insulin, and her blood sugar swings are unpredictable. Macular degeneration that's taken most of her central vision. She can see shapes and movement but can't read anymore, can't make out faces clearly unless you're very close. And in 2022, she fractured her hip in a fall coming down the stairs. She had surgery, did physical therapy, but she never fully recovered. She uses a walker now and can't manage most of the house independently. That's where I come in. Update 1. The routine. For 4 years, I have driven to Gram's house after every single shift. I work 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Brethren Village, where I spend 8 hours helping other people's grandparents eat, bathe, move, and feel like human beings. Then I get in my dented Altima and I drive 25 minutes east on Route 30 to Leola. Every day. Rain, snow, the dead heat of August when my car's AC works in what I describe as a suggestive capacity. Let me tell you what I do when I get there, because I think this matters. I cook Gram's dinner. Not reheating a frozen meal. Cooking. She likes simple things, pot roast, chicken and dumplings, scrapple and eggs, the Pennsylvania Dutch food she grew up on. I learned to make her chicken corn soup from scratch because she said the canned stuff tastes like someone described soup to a robot. I sort her medications into weekly pill organizers. She takes 11 different pills a day across 3 different time windows, and if you mess up the timing on her insulin, you're looking at a blood sugar crash that could put her in the ER. I've memorized every dosage like it's a prayer. On Tuesdays and Fridays, I help her shower. If you've never helped an 81-year-old woman with limited mobility bathe, I'll tell you what it's like. It's intimate in a way that has nothing to do with intimacy. It's the act of holding someone who used to hold you, of washing the back of someone who can't reach it anymore, of pretending not to notice the bruises from where she bumped into the doorframe because she can't see well enough to navigate the hallways she's walked down for 40 years. You have to be gentle and efficient at the same time. You have to talk about something normal, the weather, whether the tomatoes in the garden are coming in, so that neither of you has to acknowledge that this is a woman who used to butcher her own chickens and now she needs her granddaughter to help her step over a 4-inch shower ledge. I mow the lawn. 1.7 acres with a push mower because the riding mower broke in 2021 and nobody's fixed it. That takes about 2.5 hours in the summer, and I do it every 10 days. I take out the trash every visit. I check the mail. I replace light bulbs. I set mousetraps in the basement every October because the field mice come in when it gets cold. I drove Gram to her endocrinologist at Penn Medicine Lancaster General 4 times in the last 6 months. Each appointment is a full afternoon. Drive there, sit in the waiting room, help her communicate with the doctor because she's too proud to admit she can't see the pamphlets they hand her, drive home, stop at the pharmacy, go back to her house, explain what the doctor said again because she gets overwhelmed and doesn't absorb it all the first time. I sit with her on the porch and watch the Amish buggies go by on Route 340. That's not a task. That's just something we do. She'll hear the clip-clop of the horse hooves and say, "There goes another one," and I'll say, "Yep," and we'll sit there in the quiet, and it's the closest thing to peace I've ever known. I have never asked Graham for a single dollar. Not for gas. Not for groceries. Not for the time. I never even thought about it in transactional terms until recently, and the fact that I'm thinking about it now makes me feel like a terrible person. Update 2, Madison. My cousin Madison is 24. She lives in Philadelphia. She is, and I'm using her language here, a content creator. She has 142,000 followers on TikTok. She visits Graham roughly once every 5 to 6 weeks. And when she does, she brings a ring light. I need to be fair here. Madison isn't cruel. She's not scheming in a dark room twirling a mustache. She genuinely likes Graham. But her visits have a structure that I think is worth describing. She drives in from Philly, about an hour and 40 minutes. She sets up the ring light in Graham's kitchen or on the porch. She films content. Then she leaves. The whole visit lasts about 3 hours, start to finish. Let me tell you about the content. Baking cookies with Graham. Little cookie emoji, little heart emoji, 2.1 million views. In that video, Madison and Graham make snickerdoodles. What you don't see is that I'm the one who bought the ingredients the day before because Graham can't drive and can barely read a recipe card anymore. What you don't see is that I set out the mixing bowls and preheated the oven before Madison arrived because Graham can't see the oven dial clearly. Getting life advice from my 81-year-old grandma. The old woman emoji, the sparkle emoji, 4.7 million views. Graham gives advice about marriage, about patience, about growing tomatoes. She's wonderful in it. She really is. She's sharp and funny and warm and everything I know her to be. But the framing, the editing, the captions, those are Madison's product. Graham is the raw material. Graham tries matcha for the first time, 890,000 views. Graham took one sip, made a face like she'd been personally betrayed by Japan, and said, "That tastes like lawn clippings from a golf course." It was genuinely funny. Madison captioned it with 7 laughing emojis and a sponsorship tag for the matcha company that sent her the product for free. Madison makes about $4,500 a month from TikTok revenue and brand deals. She's not rich, but she's making a living. She's monetized Graham. And here's what eats at me. Graham can't see the TikToks. Her macular degeneration has progressed to the point where she can't make out the screen of a phone. She doesn't understand what TikTok is. She just knows that Madison visits and puts me on the TV, and that people send nice comments. Madison reads her selected comments, only the sweet ones, obviously. She skips the ones that say things like, "She's definitely about to die soon," or "Grandma is serving decomposition realness," because those exist too, and I've seen them, and they make my skin crawl. But Graham lights up. She genuinely glows when Madison reads her those comments. She talks about Madison constantly. To me. While I'm sorting her pills. While I'm cooking her dinner. While I'm helping her into the shower. Madison makes me famous. Hannah. Did you know 4 million people watched me make snickerdoodles? That's great, Graham. She said someone in Australia commented that I remind them of their grandmother. Australia. Hannah. That's far. It is far, Graham. I smile. I always smile. Because what am I going to do? Tell an 81-year-old woman with fading eyesight and a fractured hip that her granddaughter is building a brand on her back? That the joy Madison brings is a 3-hour production with a tax write-off? That the comment section also includes people making memes about her death? No. I sort the pills. I cook the pot roast. I smile. Update 3. The announcement. Last month, I was sitting at Graham's kitchen table after dinner. I'd made beef stew, her recipe, the one with the parsnips that nobody likes but she insists on because that's how your grandfather liked it. I was washing the dishes. Graham was sitting in her chair by the window, the one with the cushion I bought and covered because the old fabric had worn through to the foam. She said it casually, like she was telling me the weather. "Hannah, I talked to Mr. Becker," that's her attorney, "and I'm leaving the house to Madison." I turned off the water. I didn't say anything for a few seconds. The faucet dripped twice. "All of it?" I asked. "The house, the land, the barn. All of it. I want Madison to have it." I dried my hands on the dish towel. The one with the little roosters on it that I bought at the Dutch market. "Can I ask why?" And she said it. She said the thing that broke something in me that I don't think will heal right, like a bone that sets crooked. Madison brings me joy. She makes me feel seen. She shows the world that I still matter. You're a good girl, Hannah, but Madison makes me sparkle. You're a good girl, Hannah. Good girl. Like a dog that brings the newspaper. Like a reliable appliance. The dependable granddaughter who shows up and does the work and never makes it interesting, never makes it content, never puts a ring light on the love. Madison makes me sparkle. 4 years of Tuesday and Friday showers. 4 years of pill organizers. 4 years of push mowing 1.7 acres in the August heat. 4 years of sitting in doctors' offices, of explaining blood sugar levels, of cleaning grease traps and setting mousetraps and holding her hand during thunderstorms because she's been afraid of them since she was a child and nobody else knows that. Nobody else knows that because nobody else is there. But Madison brings a ring light and 4.7 million people watch Graham give life advice and she sparkles. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. Not in front of her. I said, "Okay, Graham," and I finished the dishes and I helped her to bed and I kissed her forehead the way I always do and I walked to my car and I sat in the driveway and I cried for 40 minutes. The kind of crying where your whole body participates, where your ribs ache and your hands shake on the steering wheel and you gasp like you're being held underwater. Not because of the money. I want to be extremely clear about that. I have never looked at Graham's house and seen a payday. I looked at it and saw security. I saw the possibility that someday, maybe, I wouldn't have to rent a room on Marietta Avenue. That the 4-inch shower ledge I helped Graham step over might someday be my shower ledge. That the porch where we watch the buggies might someday be my porch. But mostly I cried because I realized something that I think might be the truest and most terrible thing I've ever understood. Invisible work is invisible. That is not a redundancy. It is a diagnosis. You can spend 4 years keeping someone alive and comfortable and fed and clean and safe, and it will never be as visible as 3 hours with a ring light and a TikTok caption. Caregiving doesn't sparkle. Update 4. The aftermath. I told my mother. Diane, 53, career waitress at a diner in Lititz, the kind of woman who has responded to every crisis in my life with some variation of the phrase, "It is what it is." She did not disappoint. Just let it go, Hannah. Graham can do what she wants with her house. It's her property. I know it's her property, Mom. Then what's the problem? The problem. Like I could hand it to her in a sentence. The problem is that I've been subsidizing Graham's ability to live independently with my time, my gas money, my physical labor, and my emotional bandwidth, and the person who shows up with a ring light 6 times a year gets the house. The problem is that nobody in this family sees what I do as anything other than what's expected. The problem is that good girl isn't a compliment. It's a leash. I didn't say any of that. I said, yeah, you're right, because that's what good girls do. Madison's mother, my Aunt Cheryl, my mom's sister, posted on Facebook that week. I will remember the exact words until I am dead. So proud of Madison for being such an amazing granddaughter. Graham knows who really loves her. With a heart emoji. A pink heart emoji. Graham knows who really loves her. I read that post in the parking lot at Brethren Village before my shift. I sat in my dented Altima and I read it 3 times. Then I went inside and I helped Mr. Patterson eat his oatmeal because he has Parkinson's and his hands shake too much to hold the spoon. And I thought about visibility. About how Mr. Patterson's daughter visits once a month and brings flowers and everyone says, "What a wonderful daughter." And I feed him oatmeal every morning and I am part of the infrastructure. I am drywall. I am plumbing. I am the thing inside the walls that makes the house work, and nobody thanks the plumbing. 3 people texted me about Cheryl's Facebook post. My friend Brianna. A coworker named Yolanda. A girl I went to high school with who I haven't spoken to in 4 years, but who apparently follows my aunt on Facebook for reasons I cannot explain. They all said some version of the same thing, "Are you okay?" And "That's messed up." I said I was fine. Good girls are always fine. Here's what I didn't do. I didn't stop going to Graham's house. I didn't stop cooking her dinner. I didn't stop sorting her medications or mowing her lawn or driving her to appointments. I thought about it. For about 10 minutes one night, lying in bed in my rented room on Marietta Avenue, listening to my housemate Tyler play Call of Duty through the wall at midnight, I thought, what if I just stopped? What if I didn't show up tomorrow? How long before someone noticed? How many days before the pill organizer was empty and the lawn was overgrown and there was no dinner on the table? Who would they call? Madison. Madison, who lives an hour and 40 minutes away and whose primary skill set is selecting Instagram filters and negotiating brand deals with matcha companies. I thought about it for 10 minutes and then I felt so guilty I couldn't breathe. Because the answer to, what if I stopped, isn't that Graham would learn a lesson. The answer is that Graham wouldn't take her insulin on time. The answer is that Gram could fall and no one would find her for hours. The answer is that an 81-year-old woman with diabetes and a bad hip and fading eyesight would suffer, and I would know that I let it happen because my feelings were hurt. So I went back. The next day. I drove the 25 minutes. I made chicken and dumplings. I sorted the pills. I helped her to bed. She said, "Thank you, sweetie," the way she always does. I said, "You're welcome, Gram," the way I always does. Nothing has changed. And everything has changed. Update 5. Where I am now. I've been sitting with this for a month now. I want to tell you what it looks like from the inside, because I think people imagine that a moment like this is a clean break, that you either accept it or you fight it and either way you move forward. It's not like that. It's like a crack in a windshield. It starts as a small point of impact and then every day it spreads a little further and you keep driving because you can still see through it, but you know it's structural. You know it's compromised. I still go to Gram's house every day. The routine hasn't changed. She hasn't mentioned the will again. I haven't brought it up. We exist in the same warm, quiet rhythm we've always had: dinner, pills, porch, buggies, goodnight kiss. From the outside, nothing is different. But I am keeping a log now. I started it the day after she told me. A composition notebook from Dollar General. Every day I write down what I did. Tuesday, March 4th. Cooked dinner, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, sorted meds, helped with shower, checked mail, replaced bathroom light bulb, drove to CVS for test strips. I don't know why I'm doing it. It feels like evidence, but I don't know what trial I'm preparing for. Maybe I just need proof that I was here. That I did this. That it happened even though nobody filmed it. I looked into some things. I'm not going to contest the will. Gram is lucid. She has every right to leave her house to whoever she wants, and I would never take her to court. She's my grandmother. I love her. The house was never the point. But I talked to a social worker at Brethren Village, a woman named Sandra who's been doing elder care coordination for 20 years. I told her my situation, not the will part, just the caregiving part. She looked at me the way you look at someone who just described a car accident they don't realize they were in. "Hannah," she said, "you are performing the equivalent of a part-time home health aide position for free. Do you understand that? What you do, the meal preparation, the medication management, the ADL assistance, the transportation, that is a job. People get paid $18 to $25 an hour to do what you're doing." I did the math later. Conservatively, 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, at $18 an hour. That's $252 a week. $13,104 a year. Over 4 years, that's $52,416 in labor I have donated to my family. And that's using the low estimate. That's not including the gas. That's not including the mowing. That's not including the emotional weight of watching someone you love diminish incrementally while everyone else sees only the highlight reel. Sandra told me about caregiver agreements. Legal documents where a family member is formally recognized and compensated for care work. She said I could talk to Gram about it. I haven't yet. I don't know if I will. It feels like putting a price tag on love, and I've spent 27 years being told that good girls love for free. But I'm starting to think that good girls love for free is just something people say to the person doing the work so they don't have to pay her. Madison posted a new TikTok last week. Spring cleaning with Gram Broom Cherry Blossom. Gram dusting a shelf while Madison narrates in a baby voice. 1.3 million views in 4 days. The comments are full of people saying, "Protect Gram at all costs," and "This is the purest thing on the internet." Madison is protecting Gram. Madison is showing up 6 times a year with a ring light and a content calendar, and she is protecting Gram. I am the one who checks the expiration dates on her insulin. I am the one who noticed the mole on her back that turned out to be basal cell carcinoma. I am the one who held her hand in the dermatologist's office while they did the biopsy, and I am the one who drove her back for the excision, and I am the one who changed the bandage every day for 2 weeks. Madison didn't know about the mole. Madison doesn't know about the mole. It didn't make the content calendar. I want to be clear about something. I don't want to take anything from Gram. I don't want to manipulate her. I don't want to guilt her into changing her will. What I want is something that might not be possible. I want to be seen. I want someone in my family, anyone, to say, "Hannah, what you're doing matters. What you're doing is extraordinary. What you're doing is love, and it counts, even though it doesn't have a TikTok comment section." Nobody has said that. My mother said, "Let it go." My aunt said Madison is the one who really loves Gram. And Gram said I'm a good girl, but Madison makes her sparkle. Here is what I know to be true. And I will write it down here because I haven't been able to say it out loud. I am not going to stop taking care of Graham. I will keep driving to Leola. I will keep making dinner. I will keep sorting pills and mowing the lawn and helping her shower and sitting on the porch watching the buggies. I will do it because I love her, and because it's the right thing, and because if I don't, nobody else will. But I am also not going to pretend it doesn't hurt. I am done being fine. I am done being the good girl who smiles while someone else gets the credit and the house and the Facebook tribute. I am not going to blow up Thanksgiving or post a rant online under my real name or confront Madison at Graham's kitchen table. That's not who I am. But I am going to start treating my labor as labor. I am going to have a conversation with Graham about a caregiver agreement, not because I want to be paid for love, but because I deserve to be recognized as something more than background infrastructure. And honestly, I'm going to start saying no sometimes. Not to Graham. To everything else that asks me to be invisible. To the expectation that I absorb every inconvenience, every slight, every overlooked sacrifice because I'm dependable and dependable people don't complain. I'm going to start being a little less convenient. A little less automatic. A little less drywall. I don't know if that makes me the asshole. Maybe it does. Maybe wanting recognition for the work you do is selfish. Maybe I should be able to love Graham unconditionally and not care who gets the house or the credit. Maybe a truly good person does the right thing in total darkness and never needs anyone to turn on the light. But I'm not a saint. I'm a 27-year-old CNA who makes $36,000 a year and drives a dented Altima and rents a room from a guy who plays Call of Duty at midnight. And I am so tired of being the person who keeps everyone alive while someone else gets to be the person who makes everyone sparkle. So, Edit. I didn't expect this to get attention. A few things people keep asking in the comments. No, I'm not going to stop caring for Graham. That was never on the table. Yes, I know about undue influence laws. I spoke to Sandra about it. The issue is that Graham is cognitively intact. She's making this choice with a clear mind. She just values visibility over presence, and I can't legislate that. Someone asked if Madison knows about the will. I don't know. Graham might have told her. Madison and I aren't close. We're polite at holidays, we send birthday texts, but we've never had a real conversation about Graham's care. She's never asked me what I do every day. She's never offered to come more often. She's never offered gas money. She did tag me in a TikTok once. My cousin Hannah is the real MVP raising hands, and it got 47 likes. 47. The matcha video got 890,000. I'm meeting with a family law attorney next week. Not to contest anything. Just to understand my options regarding a caregiver agreement and to make sure I'm protecting myself. Sandra gave me a referral. I'm going to the consultation on my lunch break. I'll probably eat a granola bar in the parking lot afterward and then go back to work and help someone else's grandmother eat lunch. That's the job. That's always been the job. I just didn't realize until now that I'd been doing two of them.